In this video, we're going to talk about reference angles. Every angle in standard position that terminates in one of the four quadrants is associated with an angle that's called reference angle. Reference angle is always acute, meaning between 0 and 90 degrees. It's always positive. And finally, the reference angle is always between the x-axis and the terminal side of the given angle. In other words, the reference angle is always found with the reference to the x-axis, never the y-axis. Now, having these three characteristics of the reference angle, let's try to locate it for each of the given four angles. First, we're going to look at the angle that terminates in quadrant 1. We will call it angle theta. So what would be the corresponding reference angle? Well, since it has to be acute and it has to be between the x-axis and the terminal side of the given angle, in this case, reference angle will be the same as angle theta. And reference angle is commonly denoted by the same name as the original angle, but we add prime next to the angle name, so theta prime. Now, if you're a little bit confused why it's exactly the same as our given angle, let's just move on and find reference angles in quadrants 2, 3, and 4, and I think after that this first case will make total sense. So now we're going to look at the angle that terminates in quadrant 2. So here's the original angle theta. Now where is the reference angle theta prime in this case? Okay, so if this is the terminal side of the given angle, and this is the x-axis, and reference angle has to be between 0 and 90, then it must be this angle here. Let's try it again, but now for the angle that terminates in quadrant 3. Here's angle theta. Remember, it has to be in standard position. But where is the reference angle? One more time, it has to be acute, and it has to be between the x-axis and the terminal side of the given angle. Can you see it? Here it is. The very common error to find the reference angle by using the terminal side and the y-axis. So try not to make this mistake. The y-axis is never a side of the reference angle. And finally, angle that terminates in quadrant 4. Here's the given angle theta. The reference angle theta prime will be between the terminal side of that angle theta and the x-axis. Since it has to be acute, it must be this angle here. Let's practice. In this example, we will need to find the reference angle for each of the given angles. So the first one that we have is the angle that measures 195 degrees. I think that the easiest way to find the reference angle is by sketching the original angle, the given angle, and then locating the reference angle on the xy plane. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is the initial side of the given angle, and then I'll start rotating. This is 90, this is 180, I need to go more, right? 195, so a little bit more, like that. Here's the angle theta. Now let's locate the reference angle theta prime. Remember, it has to be between the terminal side of the given angle and the x-axis, and it has to be acute and positive. So here's the terminal side, here's the x-axis, and in between, we'll find an acute angle, that is the reference angle, theta prime. Now let's calculate what theta prime equals to. This is how we can think about it. Rotating it this far, I reached 180 degrees. So right here, 180 degrees. And I had to go a little bit more to reach 195. How much more? Well, to calculate that, I simply have to take 195 degrees and subtract 180 degrees. That will give me 15 degrees. So angle theta prime, reference angle is 15 degrees. And my answer is consistent with the fact that it has to be acute, between 0 and 90 degrees, and positive. Next, we're going to find the reference angle for angle that measures negative 225 degrees. Yes, both positive and negative angles can have the corresponding reference angle. So again, I'm going to start first by sketching this angle. The fact that it's negative only means that I have to go in clockwise direction. Okay, so that's negative 90, that's negative 180, and I have to go more to get to negative 225. I will not reach the y-axis here because it's already negative 270. So that's where I'm going to stop. Again, it's a sketch, so I'm approximating the position of the terminal side. But that's going to be angle theta, measures negative 225 degrees. Whereas angle theta prime, the reference angle, it has to be between the terminal side of my angle and the x-axis, and it has to be acute, which means that it's going to be this angle here. Notice that I'm putting arrow in the opposite direction just to remind myself and everyone that reference angle is always positive. So this is theta prime. But you don't want to overthink the direction of the arrows, so when I'm trying to calculate what angle theta prime equals to, I'm going to think this way. So first I went up to negative 180 and then more to get to negative 225. How much more? So for calculation purposes, I can ignore negative signs and I can simply say, to calculate what theta prime is, I'm going to take 225 degrees and subtract 180. That will give me 45 degrees. First, dropping the negative signs make my calculation easier. And second, well, the reference angle has to be positive anyway. So in this case, angle theta prime, reference angle equals 45 degrees. And for our last example, we need to find reference angle for the angle that measures 510 degrees. First, I'm going to sketch the given angle. So it's positive angle. I will be rotating counterclockwise. So let's start. This is 90, that's 180, that's 270, that's 360. I'm not there yet, right? I'm at 360, I need 510. So I'll continue. 360 plus 90 more. So that's going to be 450. I just made a quick calculation on the side for that. And then how much more do I need to go to reach 510? So I am at 450 and I need what, 60 more? 60 degrees more. Maybe like that. So that's where the given angle theta terminates. And I added notes here to reflect the calculation steps. Now, where's the reference angle? It has to be between the terminal side of the given angle and the x-axis, and it has to be acute. So theta prime must be this angle here. Let's figure out its measure. The way I can think about it this time is the following. I know that one full quadrant measures 90 degrees. And I also know that this portion here is 60 degrees, because it was involved in my steps of finding where the given angle terminates. Okay, well, if this portion is 60, then to find angle theta prime, I'm going to take 90 degrees, that's one full quadrant, and I'll subtract 60 degrees. That will give me 30 degrees. That means that 510 degree angle has the reference angle that measures 30 degrees. So that's the way to find the reference angle for the given one.